5.
Curry hits a three.
4.
Just on the drive. Deep left field.
3.
Patrick hit by Watt. Sack number 10.
2.
Messi with a record-breaking goal.
1.
Welcome to BSS Sports. Now, here are your hosts, Steve and Trevor.
Good evening or afternoon. It is not the evening. This is another episode of BSS Sports. My name is Steven Schill with the ever-lovely Monsieur Trevor Struthers. And Trevor, I know the Cowboys are America's team, but have you ever found yourself rooting for them?
No.
Yeah, neither have I. But with that being said, Dak Prescott's doing pretty good this year. He's got 14 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, which is an insane record. So I guess the old question that kind of gets brought up every week is now what's going to happen with Tony Romo? Before it was going to be, okay, what are we going to do with Tony now that Prescott is doing well? Do we play him? Do we sit him? What do we do? And now it's turned into this little game of where are we going to trade Romo? But again, this is early. This is early. He was back last week, and he was ready to play. And now this week, they start Prescott, and it went from, okay, is this guy going to start, to, okay, where is he getting traded? Do you think the teams are kind of jumping the gun on this one for news stories, or do you think it's like a legitimate thing where Tony Romo could get traded and not be on the Cowboys?
Well, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, do you want to be paying a guy that much to sit on the bench? I mean, that's what it comes down to.
That's a fair point, but do you see any landing spots? Everybody keeps talking about the Broncos, but, I mean, hello, Cleveland, they need a quarterback too. There's other teams that need it. But, again, somebody said, if we do trade Romo, I don't know who is getting fired over that one, but if we trade Romo, we're going to listen to where he wants to go and kind of help him as like an appreciation for him. Where do you think would be a good spot for Tony to land?
I don't know what the best spot would be. I mean, I guess when it comes to, like, a good team that needs a quarterback, the Broncos would maybe be near the top of that list. But, I mean, Cleveland could use a quarterback, but they also need a football team as well. And to invest that much money in a quarterback, to just, be the quarterback and not do much beyond that, I mean, they need to invest money in more than just the quarterback if they want to be good.
Well, the thing with the Broncos is they have Paxton Lynch and they got Trevor Siemian, which are basically two rookie-ish quarterbacks. More Paxton than Trevor Siemian. He's been in the league for a little bit, but Paxton hasn't. But with that being said, the reason why all the talk about going to the Broncos is mainly due to the fact that, hey, the Broncos won it, last year. So why not help them out and make sure they have the good quarterback that they need for that? But again, with that being said, it's why the Broncos? Did they have the funds for that?
I mean, they could probably put the money into it, but I mean, it's just because a team that's going to trade for Tony Romo isn't necessarily going to be that team that's like trying to build. It's not going to be like the LA Rams who could use a quarterback. So
they used Jared Goff. Jared Goff played today, and it was an intriguing experience. Did you catch any of Goff?
A little bit. It's about time they use somebody different. I mean, they're not exactly the team. I mean, they'd be better off sticking with Goff, that first overall pick that has a chance to be fantastic in the future.
He got smucked today. He got smucked. You can tell he's a rookie because he's running around looking for somebody, and then boom, 3 players, they clock him.
And that's the thing, though, is like the Broncos, they're a veteran team that, like you said, I mean, just won the championship, right? So, I mean, that's the key piece they're missing. That obviously was Peyton Manning retiring, and I mean, Tony Romo is that big veteran quarterback on the trade block right now, and I think it makes a ton of sense for both Romo and the Broncos if they want to go in that direction. The thing is, it's Tony Romo, and how good is Tony Romo going to be when the pressure's on him in Denver if that actually happens?
Now, do you remember the NFL draft this year, Trev?
Not a lot of it, to be honest.
It's Laremy Tunsil, the one who was involved with some illicit drugs and a gas mask. Well, he's playing again. That's good. Like, I mean, there was a lot of, hey, what's this guy going to do? Because he's, cuckoo in the brains, though, for their lack of thinking. I don't know. It's the NFL. Everybody's weird, so I don't really know why they found that like a weird thing and teams started passing on him. But with that being said, he's actually pretty good. He was going up against Jared Goff and the Rams today, although he is an offensive lineman, so he didn't really have to deal with Jared Goff as Tunsil is on Miami. But, I mean, he looks pretty good. Like, for a guy that was supposed to be drafted up high and how far he fell, I mean, the Miami Dolphins got an absolute steal for that. And it's weird to think with the draft, it's what are you going to do? And Trevor, I want to propose the question to you. If you are in the war room on draft day, and this video surfaces about Laremy Tunsil, but you know this guy's going to help your team, do you let him slide, or do you take the risk on him? If you were the coach, I forget which team was originally supposed to take him, but if you're the coach and you're in the war room talking with everybody, deciding what you're going to do, what do you tell the team? What are you taking this player, even though there's this weird kind of baggage on him, or what do you do?
I mean, that's a great question, just because, I mean, sure, you know that he's got the chance to really help your team and be great, but then there's also the downside of what if his actions off the field means he can't be on the field, or when he's on the field, he's not focused on the field things, right? So, I mean, really, it's all about weighing your options and taking a chance. And would I have taken that chance? I mean, it all depends on who else is available, and you got to weigh other options. It comes down to a bunch of things, whether you make that decision or not, to be honest.
He lost a fair amount of money, too, because it's weird how the NFL works with the higher draft pick you are, the more money you make off early year, even if you have a poor year, kind of like when Jadeveon Clowney came into the league and got injured for the entirety of the first season. Anyway, moving on, Mike Evans of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last week, I believe we talked about the fact that he was kneeling for the national anthem in a protest of Monsieur Donald Trump. Now this week, he's standing. Do you think somebody told him, hey, stand up? Or do you think he just gave up on his attempt at a protest?
I think he gave up on his attempt for the protest just because it didn't seem that effective. He didn't get much praise for it like a Kaepernick kind of did for his. Kaepernick's was very mixed, but this was not so much mixed. I can't remember if he came out and said this or not, but I mean, I feel like he may have said to the media that he didn't vote, which, I mean, that didn't help his cause given what he was trying to protest, but I mean, I'm going to assume he gave up on it, but maybe somebody talked to him because he is a key player for that team, and different from Kaepernick at the beginning of the year, right? Because Kaepernick's the backup quarterback, and he can kind of do whatever he wants. But for a guy like Mike Evans, that can be important to the football team. You want him focused on that and not trying to prove some sort of, you don't want him to prove some sort of message by doing things by not playing football. So I think that's what it came down to.
I have to admit, it's kind of stupid. Let's say you take the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, right? And you're like, hey, let's do this for charity. That's how it was supposed to be. But let's say you do it, and you're like, hey, let's do it for people just to give me free money, and then I pocket it. It's kind of the same thing. You're doing the exact, like, they're protesting for a reason already. They're already protesting for a reason. You can't do the exact same thing for a different cause. I just don't see how that makes any sense. One, it's not original, and two, you just look stupid doing it and then saying, oh yeah, no, it's not for this reason, it's actually for this one, just because I want to, make money, hypothetically speaking. I don't get it. It's NFL players, so I'm not going to, go there, because you never know what they're thinking. But, with that being said, keeping on the topic of the Donalds, do you remember Mr. Donald Sterling of the Clippers?
Yeah, I mean, he's hard to forget, given that whole scenario that happened.
So if you don't know, Donald Sterling was the owner of the Los Angeles Clippers, said a couple of racist things in a phone call, and the phone call got leaked, and of course, the world came crashing down on him. Adam Silver decided to ban Mr. Donald Sterling for life. However, the one problem is he owns the Clippers. Kind of hard to do stuff when you own a team. So, basically, they made him sell the team, and it was for like $2 billion to Steve Ballmer, who is working with Microsoft. And with all of this being said, Donald Sterling was like, no, why are you kicking me out of my team? What's going on? So he decided to sue the NBA and other parties, and apparently a agreement has been made. So now that is no longer the case that Sterling's wife is still associated with the team, or ex-wife. I guess they broke up, I don't know how long ago. Got a divorce and all that fun shenanigans. But now Donald is officially gone, and everybody's worrying about everything else, except there is no disclosure on how much the settlement was. But I'm going to assume Donald Sterling is still in the multi-billion-dollar range. Now, with that being said, still on the NBA topic, going from Donald's to the NBA's of Donald's, the Toronto Raptors. We are top of the Atlantic Division. Hallelujah. Things are looking good. Things are looking great. My biggest problem with this is, admittedly, I haven't been able to watch a whole lot of games this year, but every time I see any Raptors news, it's DeMar. And I don't know, like, is Kyle just lacking this season? Because last year it was Kyle, and the year before that it was like, okay, what are we going to get from Jonas Valanciunas? And I don't know if it's actually a collaborative effort or it's literally just DeMar.
It's a collaborative effort for sure. I think it always is. Although basketball is kind of that one sport where, I mean, we've talked about it before with LeBron James, where one player can kind of take over. But, I mean, yeah, Kyle Lowry probably hasn't played to the expectations that he had going into the year. But, I mean, the reason you're hearing so much about DeMar DeRozan is because he's averaging the most points per game in the NBA at 33. I mean, Kyle Lowry may not be playing up to his expectations, but DeMar DeRozan is playing better than maybe he ever has to this point in his NBA career, and definitely compared to last year. When it comes to putting up points, and the fact that he's doing it with not too many threes is a bit of a story as well. But, I mean, the ball just always seems to be in DeMar's hands on every possession now, and he's making it work, averaging 33 points a game, tops in the NBA. I think that's the reason why we're mainly hearing about DeRozan when anybody is talking about the Raptors.
I have to say that I'm kind of confused with the situation in Philadelphia with the 76ers. It kind of relates to the Edmonton Oilers and the fact that, hey, you've had X amount of really high draft picks and you're not doing much about it. I want to throw you another managerial question there, because I know you like playing the video games and making your team all fancy and whatnot. If you are the 76ers right now, what do you do? Do you keep working with the squad? Do you completely rebuild? Do you do some kind of stupid trade? What is it to shake it up? Because right now, you're 3-10. You just came off a win against the Phoenix Suns, your third win of the season, but the Phoenix Suns are 4-10 and just as kind of low in the table as you are. If you were the 76ers, what in the world do you do?
Well, the first thing I'm doing is high-fiving because we still have more wins than the Dallas Mavericks. But beyond that, I mean, yeah, I think you have to stick with it. They have some young players and they have some high draft picks, and eventually these guys really need to turn into something. And if they don't, is it management's fault? I mean, you have to go back and look at the drafts and see where guys would have gone. To this point, I think you have to stick with it and see where it leads. I don't think, definitely for now, I mean, if you start stripping down and going into some sort of rebuild, long form rebuild right now, what the heck are the fans gonna think? I mean, it's what now been 3 seasons of gotta watch my language, of not very good basketball. Do you want that to continue for another 5 years? I think now you have to stick with it. And the Eastern Conference, to a degree, over the last couple of years hasn't been that tough, and it doesn't seem like it's going to pick up in its toughness too much. And so there's a chance there that if Philadelphia can put together a decent season, that they could be at least in the playoff contention. So I think you got to stick with it, and we'll find out in a few years potentially if this Philadelphia team, with the guys that they drafted, if they can be a playoff team. That's
probably the scariest thought. 76ers in the Western Conference. That would be so bad. That would be terrifying. It's kind of cool to think about, though, but that would be the end of Philadelphia. With that being said, we're moving on to baseball, and Brett Cecil signs with the Cardinals. 4 years, $30 million. $30 million for a baseball player. I don't even know many hockey players that even get that, and there's stars in the league. What is it with baseball? When is this coming to a crashing end? Because I don't know if it's just they're getting all this money from international revenue, but this is insane cash they're getting.
I mean, obviously St. Louis, the Cardinals, has a big market baseball team, so they're going to have areas that they can get cash from. And, I mean, obviously they used to hear on Cecil, they want to try to bolster their bullpen. And Brett Cecil's maybe not going to be that key guy in the bullpen, but he's definitely going to be a left-hander that you can rely upon. The thing is, usually with relievers, they go bad year, good year, bad year, good year. And a lot of Blue Jays fans will tell you he's coming off a bad year. And, I mean, I guess the numbers to a point definitely do suggest that. This was his fourth year, I believe, as just a straight reliever with no starts in a season. It's his highest ERA throughout that whole span. Every ERA is somewhere in the twos up until this past year. It's at 3.93, so just below 4. He had a bit of a rough year. But I mean, the thing with that as well is you're going to have your good, when you're going well, and you're going to have your slumps. It's just a matter of, do you have more times where you're going good than you're slumping? But, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Brett Cecil has a good year next year. I mean, he's making that move now out of the AL East to the National League. And like I said, that whole, good year, bad year thing, it lines up for Brett Cecil to maybe have a pretty good year.
And on a side note, the Blue Jays, yes, Edwin and Bautista are now officially in the free agent market as they've declined their qualifying offers. So, as the Hunger Games says, may the odds be ever in your favor. And that's it for this edition of BSS Sports. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook at BSS Sports, archiving all of our works on YouTube at BSS Productions. If you check it out in the search bar, for Steven Schill and Trevor Struthers, we'll catch you next Monday.